Hi, my name is Mr. Watson, and in this video I'm going to be talking through how you can answer question 3 of AQA's Language Paper 2. Please bear in mind that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to answering these questions, and that the methods and approaches that I will show you in this video may be different to those that your own teacher has shown you. If that is the case, then ultimately it is your decision to go for whichever approach and whichever method works best for you. With that being said, let's have a look at how to answer question 3. So what exactly does question 3 ask you to do? You're asked to focus on how the writer uses language in one of the sources. Now this question is very similar to question 2 of Language Paper 1, which also asks you to focus on the language. A difference, however, is that this question is worth 12 marks, as opposed to the 8 marks available for question 2 on paper 1. Now I would suggest that you should aim to write at least 3 PEE paragraphs for this question. And crucially, you must ensure that you zoom in on language techniques using subject terminology, and then talk about the effect of those techniques. With regards to timing, you should spend no more than 15 minutes on this question. So here is what a question 3 of Language Paper 2 looks like. You now need to refer only to source A from lines 18 to 28. How does the writer use language to describe his son? So what are the steps that you can follow in order to be successful in answering this question? First of all, you need to read the question and identify what you need to focus on. I've highlighted in the example question there what I need to focus on. So I need to look in source A and I need to look at lines 18 to 28. So I might draw a box around that section so that I'm not tempted to look at quotations elsewhere. The actual focus of the question is how the writer uses language to describe his son. So that is what I am looking for. And that brings me on to step 2. I skim back through the directed source, which in this case is source A, and find 3 quotations that answer the question, which in this case is 3 quotations about how his son is described. And once I've got my 3 quotations, I will then write 3 PEE paragraphs in which I discuss how the writer uses language to create a specific effect. Now that can be an emotional effect, it could be an effect in terms of what we learn as readers, anything like that. But it is very important that you don't just say, oh, here's a metaphor and here's an adjective. That's feature spotting, and you might get marks for being accurate, but you'll lose a lot of marks for not actually doing anything with it. It's so important that you actually talk about the effect and what that language actually does. So here is a breakdown of the PEE paragraph structure. You start off by making a point about how the writer uses the language. You then bring in some evidence from the text to support the point you're making. And then you explain how the writer uses that language to create an effect of some kind, ensuring that when you're zooming in, you're using subject terminology. That means instead of when you zoom in, saying things like the word, you would be more specific and say the adjective, the adverb, the simile, the metaphor, etc. So then you do the exact same thing for paragraph 2 and paragraph 3. So let's have a look at an example paragraph that answers this question. It's worth noting that this paragraph has actually come from AQA's indicative standard, which means it has come from the exam board themselves. They have provided this in their mark schemes. So we can see in this answer exactly what it is the examiners will be looking for. The writer starts with a metaphor to describe his newborn baby son as a sleepy ball of scrunched up flesh. The image of a sleepy ball gives a sense of the baby curled up, cozy and snuggled, whilst the phrase scrunched up flesh shows how difficult it was to make out his son's features. The adjective scrunched suggests that the baby's face is crumpled and creased. Okay, so I've colour-coded that PEE paragraph there so you can see how the different sections, the point, the evidence and the explain, as well as the subject terminology, fit into that paragraph. Notice how the majority of the paragraph is made up of the green, which is the explain part. That is where you're talking about how the language is used to create an effect. So as I said earlier, that is the most important part. What is it that the language actually tells us? What do we learn? And of course, there are a couple examples there of subject terminology, which has been identified as a metaphor, and then when we've zoomed in even further, an adjective. What you would then go on to do is follow the same structure for your second and your third paragraph to write a complete response. Okay, that is all for this question. I really hope you found this video useful. If you did, please leave a like. It really helps me know which videos are working and which videos maybe I could redo in the future. If you have any questions whatsoever about what I've talked about in this video, if you leave a comment, either myself or somebody else will hopefully be able to get back to you and help you out. Okay, that's all from me in this video. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.